having India being invited to the G7 summit and our Prime Minister Mark Carney reaching out to India for this is a fantastic development. I think that with a market that's so big, 1.4 billion people, the world's largest democracy, there's a big market there, and there's a lot in common between our countries. And Canada has the largest diaspora of Indian people in the world. What a great arrangement this could be.
So what are the expectations, because India and Canada was not having any good relations in the recent past. So do you believe that the new government in Canada will having good relations with New Delhi and especially with the Prime Minister Modi?
This move by the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, to reach out to India, I think is a very positive development. Things have not been good for the last several years. It's very negative, and it's not okay. We need to have a better relationship with India and move forward on a positive footing. This, I think, signals that they want to fix this dynamic and really mend some very open wounds that have occurred here.
India always have a concern of Khalistanis extremism, separatism, which is existing in Canada, because they're having good numbers there. So do you believe that there will be any talks further on this direction between Mark Carney and Prime Minister Modi?
Well, the situation of Khalistani extremism is a major problem. There's no question. And most Hindus and Sikh people in Canada are not happy with this situation. And hopefully this will be discussed by the federal government with India. I'm in the provincial government in British Columbia, where there is a large Khalistani movement. It's dangerous and scary for a lot of people, and it's time that this be dealt with firmly. And I hope that this will be discussed in meetings between Prime Minister Mark Carney and India in the G7 meeting.
Great. There are many Indians in Canada, those who are demanding, to have a memorial for the 1985 air bombing Kanishka, bombing in Canada, especially in the British Columbia. So how do you see this development, and do you believe that this will help to fight against extremism and terrorism?
What I think it will do is bring attention to this issue. Remember, this bombing happened, this terrible bombing happened back in 1985 when so many people don't even really remember what happened. It was an unbelievable and sickening tragedy, a disgusting act of terrorism against innocent civilians, 331 lives. And right now, there's only one little plaque about this event in our largest park in Vancouver, Stanley Park, and pushing for a memorial that actually I'm working on right now here in British Columbia to push for a memorial, a place where people can go and young people can go and read about it and see and understand what happened would be extremely educational and helpful to perhaps healing some of the wounds. I mean, you can never heal what happened there. But education is important going forward, and the understanding that allowing groups to glorify terrorism, to say it's okay, it's not okay. This was the worst act of terrorism that's ever been done against a civilian airplane, and it was planned and hatched and executed here. And I think a lot of Canadians don't understand what happened there. Even though there was a major trial about it, it still hasn't taken the front seat that it should have about how this was allowed to happen and whether the groups that pushed and planned this horrible act have actually been, whether it's been brought to light and really noticed. So this educational center will help with that. I think that it's needed right now because, as you know, last week in the BC legislature, several rappers were invited to speak in the legislature or to visit the legislature, and they were called out to, and they got shout outs from people from both major parties here. And these musicians in their videos are glorifying murderers and terrorists. That's not okay at all. And this should not ever happen again. And that's a, not just my view, that's a lot of people feel this way.
Like Canada, India is also suffering due to terrorism. Recently India had an escalation with neighboring Pakistan since after the Pahalgam terror attack. So, do you believe that this visit of Prime Minister Modi in Canada, as he's participating in the G7 summit, there will be close talks on eradicating terrorism between both the countries?
Well, obviously, I can't say what they'll be discussing, but I would imagine that this is going to be top of mind for Mr. Modi and for Mr. Carney. And I can't imagine that this issue would not be addressed between these two leaders. The attack on the tourists in Kashmir was sickening, and Canada has to take a position on these kinds of things and deal with this. And I'm hoping this will be on the list of items that they deal with, and I'm sure it will be.
How do you see the relations between India and Canada after the visit of Prime Minister Modi in participating at G7 summit?
I think the relationship will be improved, and it will be exciting to have the two leaders meeting. I'm an optimist, and I always believe that meeting and doing things like this reduces barriers, and it also brings to light that Canada needs to have a positive relationship with India. This is great news. And, India, what a great country to have a trade arrangement with. Educated population, brilliant people, motivated people, a democracy, and such a gigantic market. Canada could do nothing but benefit from having a positive relationship with India, and I hope that the talks between Mr. Carney and Mr. Modi are positive and look forward to an increased relationship between us. As I said before, we have the largest diaspora of Indian people in our country, and I believe a large part of that is right here in British Columbia. So it would be exciting, and I think it would give a lot of people hope and establish positive ties.